Good morning. So as Pastor Mike said, this is our family service. This is when we take lessons we are doing downstairs and bring them upstairs. We use the Godly Play curriculum, which is stories that are hopefully a little more tangible, and we take stories we know and maybe think about them in new ways. In your bulletin, it says this story is called Knowing Jesus in a New Way, and in true Phoebe fashion, I decided to do something different about 24 hours ago. So this is not that lesson. This is kind of amalgamation of a couple that I have combined together for the season that we're in currently. And so I was going to start with our calendar. And this is our church's calendar, and church's calendars look a little bit different, as we know. Some of us have seen this before. So our calendar is in a circle, and we have these times of leading to big celebrations. We have Advent leading to Christmas. We have Lent leading into Easter, and then we have celebration of Easter leading into the Pentecost. And all of these times are times when we have reminders pretty constantly about what Jesus offers us and the gifts of the church and the gifts of each other. And then the majority of our calendar is this green. And this green is often referred to as ordinary time. But I don't know if that word is exactly right all the time. Ordinary time are seasons that we get to grow and learn and rest, and grow and learn and rest. And ordinary time often, because it's not a celebratory time or a preparation time, can get overlooked, or we just get lost in the busyness in our day-to-day lives. And so I want to make sure we acknowledge what's happening during ordinary time, because often ordinary time is actually times of great changes, great growth, great rest. And that is the time we're in today. We entered in after Pentecost, after the Holy Spirit came down to the people, and we entered into the time of the church, of the ordinary time. The churches were growing and traveling and changing, and it continues today. That ordinary time is our time to grow and change. Jesus told us a story once that he called himself the Good Shepherd. And he talked about how the Good Shepherd and his sheep he would lead his sheep from the sheepfold, or the area, I should have connected these before, the area where sheep were protected and safe. And he said, I am the Good Shepherd. I don't have pockets, sorry. He said, I am the Good Shepherd. I know each of my sheep by name, and they know the sound of my voice. And I take my sheep from the sheepfold, and I show them the way, and I lead them to the good grass, to the place where they can eat and grow. And I lead them to the fresh and the still waters where they can drink. And I protect them from harm. And if one should not be able to walk, I will carry it on my back. And if one of my sheep goes missing, I would go anywhere to look for the lost sheep. In the grass, by the water, or even in places of danger. And I would protect the sheep and bring it back to to the place where there is good grass and where there is plenty to drink. In the same way, Jesus leads us. Jesus leads us like his sheep to a table. This is the Good Shepherd's table. And at the Good Shepherd's table, we are offered the bread of the Good Shepherd and the wine of the Good Shepherd. Just gone missing. There it is. And the wine of the Good Shepherd. And we as a church do this weekly to remind us that even in all of this changing and busyness and day-to-day and sometimes monotony of showing up in our spaces to learn and grow and work, that every week we come back to this table. And all around the world, people come to the same table. People come to eat and drink and be reminded that in the ordinary time, in the time of busyness and growth and change, that we are still called to the table. We are called to be like the Good Shepherd. We are called to be together, and we are called to eat and to celebrate together. Some of my friends do not want to stand up, but that's okay. So we come to this table with people all around the world, and we drink this bread, or we eat this bread and we drink this cup, and we remember what Jesus did for us. We remember our Good Shepherd. We remember the seasons that are celebratory, the seasons that we wait for him, and we remember that in day-to-day life, he meets us where we are. He leads us to this table so that we may be together and celebrate our lives together. We are made to be together and be with Jesus. We enter this time after our stories of wondering and talking about questions that don't always have answers, questions that we get to decide answers for. And so our wondering is a time to respond. And so I'm going to pose a wondering question, and I invite anybody to answer. So our first wondering question today is, I wonder what your favorite part of the story was. Or do you have a favorite part of the story? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Yeah?
My favorite part was the ordinary time was for rest, for change, and for growth.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense now. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The green, right, is like grass growing and seasons changing. Jojo? What's about the table that we come to? Jenny?
That Jesus meets us where we are.
And leads us to where we are. Both those things are special about this table. Our next question is, I wonder how you feel, and this might be a question that we just answer in our head. Sometimes we have out loud questions, and sometimes we have questions that we're not ready to share. I wonder how you feel when you come to our table. If you feel welcomed, if you feel nervous, if you feel like it's just an ordinary part, or if you feel like it's special. And our last question is, I wonder where you are in our story. I wonder if you are changing, if you are living in rest, if you are living in work. I wonder if you feel like a sheep or feel like a lost sheep. Yeah, hi.
For me, it's Jesus coming to the uncertain place.
Mm.
In that time of, not safety, but sort of that uncertain and not knowing what's next and knowing that he's there with us
Yeah.
as we transition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I'd be the one at the table. I feel
Mhm.
like the one who wants to be at the table, because the importance of things that happen around the table. Your family life. Sometimes the only times that you have to share together is to be at the table, sharing prayer, sharing the meal, and it's a kind of a tradition that cuts across not just in America, but I find across a lot of cultures is the table is very important, and the table is prominent in the house, and it being a prominent thing for this church, I think is a really unique and important. I think it's something.
Yeah. Part, I think, of our church's philosophy of modeling our lives after Jesus is how much time Jesus spent around tables and eating and sharing meals with one another. And so I agree, it's a special part of our church that we follow in that way. So now we move into a time of response. This is a time that we connect our thoughts to maybe our bodies in a more tangible way. You can respond however you would like. If you would like to stay quiet and think about ordinary time, if you would like to pick an art or craft to do, we have Play-Doh, we have clay, we have pencils, and respond to the story. What part of the story do you want to remember through the weeks and the months and the years to come? What part do you feel like really talked to you today? And so I am going to invite you all to come up and choose a way to respond, and we will spend some time doing that response.